So I'm glad to be here today talking a little bit about where I work. So in full transparency, the conversation is powered by Robitussin and cough drops, so I can't be held accountable for anything I say. I brought my notes up to help me out a little bit with that, so please work with me, bear with me. So I am the CIO. My name is David Shiva, and I am the CIO of the largest property management organization in the world. Think of like Jones Lang LaSalle, we're bigger than that. I am also the CIO of the largest fleet in the world. So think of UPS's great big fleet, or Coca-Cola, or Avis, or places like that. Our fleet is bigger than all of that. We are the purveyor of the largest collections of arts and antiquities in the world. We're one of the biggest design and construction companies in North America. So think Whiting Turner or Clark Construction. We do those bodies of work. We do all of this effectively with technology, and I'm going to talk a little bit about partnership and the effective use of technology at the end of this discussion. But we do this on behalf of you, many of you in this space. If you're a U.S. citizen or a visitor to the United States, you're part of who we do this for. So who are we? We're the United States General Services Administration. And we do all of this on behalf of the citizens and visitors of the United States, as well as the federal agencies that support operations in the federal space. So that's a pretty picture of our place. That's one of the many buildings that we manage and control, along with the Pentagon and the White House and others like that. So all of this disparate business mission, we're effectively the back office of the United States. We look after land and buildings and physical needs. Our workers are property managers, they're purchasing agents, they're policy writers. We write policy for the entire federal government. They're technologists. We provide technology for the federal government. We do this on behalf of our federal partners so that our federal partners can focus on their primary mission areas, which are protecting our borders and accelerating the mission to Mars or curing cancer. We do this kind of mundane work so that they can focus on their primary mission areas. Because we've been doing that for a long time, we've become a proving ground, a test ground for new and enabling technologies. So that what we can try before we buy and try before we use in GSA, we can then scale across the rest of government. So talking about that digital transformation role, because we've used technology as an enabler for a fair amount of time, we've been able to take what we've learned internally and scale that through our Federal Acquisition Service. We're the purchasing agents of the federal government, or through Internet of Things with our building automation technologies, and we'll scale that through government, taking our IoT learnings and move it on from there. Let's go to the next one. So how do we do this? In this role, we do a few things. One, we try new technologies. We attract world-class talent into our organization. And we do this for a couple of reasons. We're steward of taxpayer dollars. We're spending your money. A shareholder, when they make an investment in a company, they're going into that knowing that they can potentially lose that money. You citizens, you're not making that investment. We're obligated to do well for you. That's a significant influence on how we do our technology and why we do our technology. Because of that, because we're dealing with taxpayer dollars, we share everything. We share our code, we share our playbooks, we share our configurations, we share our talent, we share our infrastructure, because we're doing this with your dollars. In addition to being able to share everything, the ideation that we do, the builds of our minimally viable products, how we deliver, how we determine what works and what doesn't work, we get some really good outcomes by doing that, by rapidly iterating to things that work and rapidly pivoting away from things that don't. That allows us to be sort of a training center for effective use of technology, not only in the federal government, but elsewhere. Some examples are people from my team, GSA IT, are now the Chief Technology Officer for Department of Homeland Security, or run the federal practice at Salesforce, or run the federal practice at Box, because they learn what they can do, what the art of the possible is in the federal government here, and then export that out elsewhere. Some of the results of this mindset, this innovation mindset, are up on the screen. We've been able to rationalize our applications down to about 20%. The way we deliver, we've been able to save 17.8% of our costs while also increasing employee satisfaction with what we do and how we do it. That's over $100 million recurring annually that we've been able to save while driving higher, more effective adoption of technologies. And my customer satisfaction rate is 91%. Let that sink in for a minute, 91% in the IT space. Very proud of that. So to the comms team, this is where I'm going to kind of go off script a little bit, so you're free to go get a cup of coffee or something like that. So Tarek at the beginning talked about partnership, and that's where I want to end this conversation, because partnership is key and part and parcel to everything that we do. When we started our transformation play in 2011, there were 0 agencies in the federal government that were using cloud-based email, 0. And so when we said we need to find a lever to drive transformation into the federal government, we had to be very intentional about what we did, because the technology piece, frankly, is the easy part. The hard part's organizational change management, driving adoption of new technologies into a new space. And so we had to be very intentional about what partner we chose. We happened to choose Google. So we partnered with Google to flip from 17 mail systems into a cloud-based Gmail system. Saw some really good outcomes there. And what that did is it allowed me to do 2 things. One, in my organization, to say, look, if you transform, it's not the end of your business world. Your business world will be able to continue to grow and thrive. And that provided a springboard to the next step. And we said, okay, what's the next logical target? We had employees storing data on their laptops and on their phones and in any space where they could possibly find it. And we said, well, let's put a controlled environment there and move that out to the cloud. So we moved to Google Drive and had all 16,000 of our employees move their data out to Google Drive. Really great outcomes. People saw they could still access their stuff. They could get to it from anywhere. And then they saw those great outcomes. And then we moved to Google Docs. And then we moved to Google Scripting to allow us to do business process. And then we moved on to Google Cloud, amongst other clouds. And so that lever, that's the thing I want to leave everybody with. When you're choosing your partners, your transformation agents in your organizations, choose very carefully, because they can be the one thin line, the discriminator between success and failure. In that regard, we're super proud that we used Google as that primary transformation agent from the very beginning. That's it. Thank you very much.